You know that feeling where you're going through the motions of your day, but your mind is somewhere else entirely, planning, worrying, or replaying conversations, and you just want to actually feel where you are for more than a few seconds. It might seem like the only way to get that is to sit still and meditate for 20 minutes, but there's a gentler, more practical path that fits right into your ordinary routine. Today, we're focusing on one simple shift I call the anchor moment, a way to drop back into the present using only what's already around you. This matters because most of us spend our days on autopilot, and that constant mental drift quietly drains our energy, patience, and sense of real connection to life. When you start practicing this one small technique consistently, you begin to notice a quiet change. You feel a little more settled, a little more aware of the good things right in front of you, and less pulled around by every thought. The key mistake people make here is thinking presence has to be dramatic or deep, when really it's just about gently returning to one simple thing over and over. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what an anchor moment looks like, how to create it without any special tools or silence, and how to make it a natural part of your day. Let's start by getting clear on what actually pulls us away from the present, and then we'll build the anchor together. Feeling present in everyday life simply means paying attention to what is happening right now, not what happened yesterday or what you are worried about tomorrow. This is not about sitting still with your eyes closed for 20 minutes. It is about finding small moments of real awareness during your normal day. When you are present, you actually notice the warmth of your coffee cup, the sound of rain outside, or the feeling of your feet on the ground. It is the difference between rushing through your morning on autopilot and actually experiencing the walk to your car. A common misunderstanding is that being present requires a completely quiet mind, but that is not realistic for most of us. The truth is that presence is just a gentle shift in attention, not a dramatic change in your entire state of mind. This skill is something you can practice while brushing your teeth, waiting in line, or even while doing chores. And in the next scene, we will look at why this kind of everyday presence matters so much for your overall well-being. When you feel present, your brain gets a small break from the constant cycle of planning and worrying that drains your energy. This matters because most of our stress comes not from what is happening right now, but from replaying past events or imagining future problems. Simply being aware of the present moment gives your mind a chance to reset, even if only for a few seconds. Studies show that people who practice this kind of attention report feeling calmer and more satisfied with their day-to-day lives. The catch is that most of us think we are being present when we are actually just multitasking in our heads. Real presence offers a sense of relief because it lets you stop fighting against time and just be where you are. One simple takeaway is that you do not need extra time to feel better, you just need to show up for the moments you already have. Next, let us look at what life feels like when this sense of presence is missing entirely. When presence is absent, life can feel like a blur of tasks, notifications, and background worry that never really stops. You might find yourself finishing a conversation and realizing you did not hear a word the other person said. Mealtimes become mindless as you scroll through your phone while eating without tasting a single bite. The hours slip by, and at the end of the day you wonder where the time went and what you actually did. A realistic truth is that living this way makes small frustrations feel much bigger because you never give yourself a moment to breathe. The benefit of noticing this pattern is that it helps you understand why you feel so tired even on days when nothing major happened. The takeaway is that a lack of presence does not mean you are broken, it just means your brain learned to run on autopilot. With that in mind, let us explore the common habits that keep you stuck in that automatic mode. Right now, take one slow breath and notice how your shoulders feel. That tiny pause is a real step toward being more present. I'd love to hear what part of today's video felt most helpful to you. Maybe it was the idea of using your senses, or the simple habit of pausing before you start something new. Leave a comment below and let me know what small shift you want to try. Your answer might encourage someone else who's watching. If you're finding this useful, go ahead and like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Keep watching for more gentle ways to bring presence into your everyday life. One of the biggest blocks of presence is the habit of reaching for your phone every time you have a free second. Another is the belief that you must always be productive, so any quiet moment feels wasted. Many people also fall into the pattern of replaying conversations in their head, trying to figure out what they should have said differently. These habits train your brain to focus on anything except what is actually happening right in front of you. A common misunderstanding is that these patterns are just personality traits, but they are really learned behaviors you can change. The relief here is that you do not have to fix all of them at once. Just noticing one pattern is a powerful first step. A simple takeaway is to pay attention to what you do whenever you have a spare moment, because that reveals your biggest blocker. Now, before we get into the first step, we need to talk about the mindset shift that makes the rest possible. The first mindset shift is to stop treating presence as something you have to earn or schedule into your calendar. You do not need a special app, a peaceful room, or an hour of free time to feel present in your life. Presence is actually your natural state. It is just buried under layers of distraction and mental chatter. The shift is to see presence as permission to stop, not as another chore you have to complete. Many people resist this shift because they believe being present will slow them down or make them less productive. But the truth is that presence actually helps you focus better and make fewer mistakes, so you get more done with less effort. The takeaway is to tell yourself right now that you are allowed to be here, right now, without needing to change anything. With that mindset in place, we can now look at the first practical step to begin changing your everyday experience. The first practical step is to choose one ordinary action you do every day and turn it into a presence anchor. This could be something as simple as the moment you open your front door, turn on the tap, or sit down in your chair. Whenever you do that action, pause for just one breath and notice what is happening around you without judging it. You are not trying to clear your mind or achieve a deep state. You are just bringing your attention back to that single moment. A realistic pitfall is that you will forget to do this for the first few days, and that is completely normal. The benefit is that over time, this small habit creates a natural reset point in your day without adding any extra effort. The takeaway is to keep it simple and start with only one anchor, because consistency matters more than quantity. Next, we will look at how you can expand this practice into more moments of your day without feeling overwhelmed. So what does feeling present actually look like when you're just going about your day? It's not about staring at a sunset or having a profound breakthrough every hour. It's more like noticing the warmth of your coffee mug in your hands while you wait for a meeting to start, or feeling your feet on the floor as you stand in line at the grocery store. The key is that you're not trying to escape the moment or rush through it. You're simply letting yourself be where you are, even if that place feels ordinary or boring. A good test is to check if your mind is on what you're doing right now, not on what happened earlier or what's next. Once you see how small these moments can be, they stop feeling like a chore and start feeling like a relief. One of the easiest habits to start is what I call the one thing rule for short tasks. When you're about to do something small, like washing your hands or opening a door, just do that one thing with full attention. Don't already be thinking about the next step or pulling out your phone. This takes maybe 3 seconds, but it rewires your brain to slow down naturally. The real trick is to pick just 1 or 2 moments a day to practice this, not every single task. Over time, your mind learns that it's safe to be fully in the moment without needing a big reason. You can even pair it with something you already do, like taking a breath before you start your car. This habit is small enough that it will not feel like extra work, yet it builds a foundation for presence throughout your day. If you want more simple, down-to-earth ideas for feeling present without overcomplicating things, I have good news. Over at www.happylifetribe.com, you'll find articles and resources that match the same calm, practical approach we just explored. It's not about big life overhauls or fancy techniques. It's about small, realistic shifts that help you live with more awareness and ease. You'll find encouragement for building a happier, quieter, more intentional daily rhythm. Whether you're looking for a quick read or a deeper practice, the site is there for you. Pop over when you have a moment and see what feels right for your day. No pressure, just a gentle invitation to keep learning and growing at your own pace. The most common mistake people make is trying to force themselves to be present all the time. They hear advice about mindfulness and think they have to be on every second, which just creates pressure. When they catch themselves zoning out, they get frustrated and feel like they're failing. That frustration actually pulls you further away from being present because now you're judging yourself. The truth is, your mind will wander. It's what minds do, and that's completely okay. Being present isn't about never getting distracted. It's about gently returning when you notice you've drifted. Think of it like a workout. You don't expect perfect form on every rep, just a steady attempt. Once you let go of the idea that you have to be present perfectly, the whole practice becomes lighter and more natural. To make presence feel realistic, drop the idea that it requires a calm environment or extra time. You can practice it while your kids are yelling, while you're stuck in traffic, or while you're rushing to a deadline. It's not about stopping everything, it's about noticing one small thing in the middle of the chaos. For instance, feel the steering wheel in your hands for a few seconds during a red light. That tiny anchor keeps you from getting swallowed by stress, and it only takes a breath. The mistake is thinking you need a peaceful setting, which makes presence feel impossible for busy days. Instead, remind yourself that presence is a tool you can use anywhere, not a luxury you have to earn. When you lower the bar that much, you'll find yourself being present more often without even trying. As you get better at being present in small moments, you'll notice your mind stops racing quite so much. The constant chatter about what you should have done or what might go wrong starts to quiet down. You'll also feel less reactive to small annoyances, like a noisy neighbor or a slow internet connection. That's because presence gives you a tiny pause before your emotions take over, so you can choose how to respond. Over time, you'll carry a sense of calm that doesn't depend on everything going right. You might even find that you remember more of your day because you were actually there for parts of it. This shift feels like a slow release of tension you didn't realize you were holding, and once you taste that relief, it becomes easier to want to stay present instead of feeling like you have to. When life gets hectic, the first thing that usually drops is the very thing that could help you stay grounded. To keep momentum, don't aim for a perfect streak, just aim to do one tiny return to presence each day. It could be as simple as feeling your breath for 1 second before you open a browser tab. The real secret is to forgive yourself when you forget, because guilt only makes you avoid the practice further. You can also set a single gentle reminder on your phone that says right here to prompt a quick check-in. Notice how even a second of presence can change the tone of your next few minutes. The momentum comes from remembering that presence is always available, not from being perfect at it. And with that in mind, let's look at how you can bring this into the moments that feel the hardest, which is exactly where Scene 13 will pick up. Over time, this practice of staying present starts to quietly reshape how your whole day feels. It is not about dramatic changes, but small moments of clarity that build into something real. You might notice that you react less often to small frustrations and pause more before responding. That pause gives you space to choose what matters instead of being pulled by every thought. At first, it might feel strange to not rush through everything, but that slowness becomes a relief. You begin to trust that you do not need to be constantly busy to be valuable. The benefit is that your mind starts to settle into a calmer baseline even during busy days. This steady shift makes it easier to stay with the next challenge that comes up. One of the best parts of learning to be more present is realizing you're not doing it alone. There is a whole community of people who are also trying to slow down, notice more, and live with greater intention. When you subscribe to this channel, you join that quiet, supportive space. And if you go to www.happylifetribe.com, you can connect with others through comments, stories, and shared encouragement. We share our small wins, our struggles, and the little habits that help us feel grounded. You don't have to figure everything out by yourself. Come be part of a group that values peace, patience, and real imperfect progress. Subscribe or visit the site when you feel ready, and let's keep walking this path together. Even after you have felt real progress, a stressful day can still pull you back into old habits. That is normal and does not mean you have lost the skill or failed at anything. You might catch yourself rushing through a task or worrying about the future without noticing. That moment of autopilot can feel disappointing, but it is actually a sign that you are paying attention. The challenge is that the mind naturally wants to drift, and it will keep drifting for a long time. The realistic truth is that being present is not a permanent state, it is a repeated choice. So when that setback happens, you are not starting over, you are just returning to practice. That understanding makes it easier to meet the next step without guilt. When you notice you slip back into autopilot, the simplest recovery is to pause for just one breath. That single breath brings your attention back to your body and the moment you are in. Do not try to force yourself to stay present for a long time. Just come back for a few seconds. Then gently bring your awareness to whatever you are doing right then, even if it is small. The pitfall is that you might want to punish yourself for losing focus, but that only makes it worse. Instead, treat the slip like a friend tapping you on the shoulder to remind you. The recovery works because you are not fighting your mind, you are just redirecting it kindly. From that gentle return, you can move forward without carrying the weight of the slip. This approach helps most people who feel constantly overwhelmed by their own racing thoughts. It is especially useful for those who tried meditation but found it frustrating or unrealistic for their life. If you are someone who hates sitting still or struggles with silence, this method fits your daily rhythm. It also helps people who are naturally busy, like parents, workers, or anyone juggling many responsibilities. The reason it works is that it does not require extra time or a special space to practice. You can bring presence into the middle of a conversation, a commute, or a simple chore. The relief comes from realizing that you do not have to change your whole lifestyle to feel more grounded. That openness makes it accessible to almost anyone, no matter their schedule or personality. To begin today, pick one ordinary activity you already do every day, like washing your hands or walking to your car. Decide that for the next 3 days, you will do that one activity with your full attention. When you do it, notice the physical sensations, the temperature, the sounds, and the movement of your body. Do not try to clear your mind, just let your attention rest on the activity itself. The challenge is that your mind will wander, but each time it does, gently bring it back to the sensation. Keep this practice small and specific, so it does not feel like another thing on your to-do list. After 3 days, you will have a tiny but real experience of what presence feels like. That small success will naturally encourage you to try it with another activity tomorrow. The reason this change matters is that presence is not a luxury. It is a way to actually live your life instead of just managing it. You do not need to become a different person or master a complicated technique to feel more here. Each small moment of attention you bring to your day builds a foundation of calm that stays with you. There will still be stressful days and drifting thoughts, but those do not erase the progress you have made. The practice is simple because it is about returning, not about getting it perfect. Over time, you will notice that you are less exhausted by your own mind and more available to the people and moments around you. This is not about escaping life, it is about finally showing up for it. That is why it is worth the gentle effort, because you deserve to feel present in your own life. As we wrap up here, I hope you feel a little more at ease with the idea of being present your own way. You don't need a meditation cushion or a special app to slow down and notice this moment. The small practices we talked about today are yours to try whenever you need a gentle reset. If this video brought you some clarity or calm, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe to stay part of this tribe. For more practical ideas and everyday encouragement, visit www.happylifetribe.com. You'll find support, calm living inspiration, and mindful lifestyle guidance there. Subscribe, follow, or just come by when you need a kind reminder to slow down. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.